Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about what shoes should you wear if you're starting to feel some knee pain. This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury-prone Run Disney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line. Okay. So you'll hear so many different recommendations for what shoes to wear if you have knee pain. And there's a couple of, obviously there are so many different kinds of shoes. And I don't recommend any different type of shoes in particular. I wear Brooks Launch. Those are comfortable for me. They're wide enough for my feet. I lace them properly. So those work for me. And I also have specific socks, Bombas running socks to help with moisture wicking so I don't get blisters. But anyway, there are different types of shoes and it doesn't necessarily matter the brand. You definitely have to try them on to make sure that they feel right. So when you go to the store, definitely get fitted. If you can, get a gait analysis or at least do one of those questionnaires that they have on their websites for deciding what kind of shoe you should have. Also, and most, maybe some do it, but most running stores aren't looking at how you're standing. So one thing to look for, if you are having knee pain and you're wondering if it's from your shoes, if you're standing and you have a gap between your knees, like you're more bow-legged than you are knock-kneed, you have to be very careful about a particular kind of shoe that you are getting. So if you look at the back of the shoe, that's typically how you want to look at it. If you look at the back of the shoe and it looks or feels softer on the outside of the back of the shoe, and you can usually tell that it's a different density because it's a different color. Typically for the shoes, they don't just use color as, aesthetically to make it more pleasing, make them nicer. They also use it to differentiate different densities on the shoes. So if you have a dual density shoe and you're bow-legged and have inside knee pain from the bow-legged aspect of your knee causing more pressure on the inside of your knee, causing medial knee osteoarthritis or a decrease in space on the medial or inner aspect of your knee, you don't want a soft density on the lateral aspect, the outside of that shoe. Because when you land, if you're bow-legged, typically that person lands on the outside of their shoe and then they land and then they rocker over. And so if you have a dual density shoe in the back there and it's softer on the outside, you are actually going to be putting more pressure on the medial side of your knee because it's going to make your leg put the pressures more excessively on that inside part of the knee where you have that arthritis. If you have arthritis, if that's where your knee pain is from arthritis because you're bow-legged. So you really want to look at that aspect of the shoe. So you don't want that dual density portion in the back of the shoe because that will just cause more pain and problems and it won't help. And as I always say, definitely look at the shoes. Shoes are important, but shoes aren't an end-all be-all. Yes, don't run in Chucks, don't run in high heels, but shoes are not the end-all be-all, especially if you are having a brand new pain with a brand new pair of shoes. If they felt comfortable and fine in the store when you got them and you walked around in them and nothing else has changed, but you went and ran 6 miles on the brand new shoes, well, it's unlikely to be the brand new shoes and more likely to be the fact that you went and ran too many miles on those brand new shoes. And no, shoes shouldn't have to be quote unquote broken in. However, they are like a pair of jeans that you've just taken out of the dryer. They are stiff when they come off the production line. And so they do need to be molded to your foot. So there will be different pressures. So for somebody who has knee pain, look at your old shoes. Look where it's worn down and where you've had some more pressures. Well, now that you have the new shoes, it's not worn down any amount. And I'm not saying you want it to be super worn down. That's obviously not good. But you will notice that there will have been some give. And so it just automatically, if you run too many miles in any pair of new shoes, just like if you went out to a long event and you wore high heels and you don't normally wear high heels, even if the high heels fit, your feet are still going to hurt and be sore, or your knees or your back or your hip are still going to hurt and be sore at the end of that event because you're just not used to wearing that pair of shoe. Even if they are broken in, let's say they're high heels that you've worn for 5 years, you just don't wear them very often anymore. When you go to wear them, your body now has to just acclimate and be a little bit different. And so you're going to be sore if you stood in them for 5 hours as opposed to if you just wore them for 5 or 10 minutes. Same thing with your running shoes. You don't necessarily have to break them in, but your body does have an adjustment period because they're just not used to them yet. As always, thanks so much for listening. That's all for now. Talk to you soon.